Imagine a train, standing still on a track. It takes a significant amount of energy to get that train moving. This hulking mass of steel and power, a symbol of potential, waits for the surge of energy that will get its wheels turning. This is the stage of inertia, where everything is still, and moving forward seems like a monumental task. Now think about this. Isn't this just like starting a new goal? Whether it's embarking on a fitness journey, writing a book, or starting a business, the beginning is always the hardest. The task seems daunting, the path overwhelming. But just like the train, you need a substantial burst of energy, a commitment to overcome the inertia and set things in motion. The train, once it starts moving, gains momentum. It's the same with your personal goals. The initial phase may require a lot of effort, but as you gain momentum, it becomes easier to keep moving. This is the power of momentum. It's not just about the physical or mental energy you exert, but also about the rhythm you create, the pace you set. Every step you take towards your goal adds to this momentum. Each small victory, every hurdle overcome, fuels your drive to keep going. It's a cycle of positivity, of progress that once started, can be self-sustaining. You see, the train, once it reaches 50 miles per hour, doesn't require the same amount of energy to keep going. It's already in motion, and maintaining this speed is far easier than starting from a standstill. The same applies to your goals. The initial push is the hardest part, but once you start moving, maintaining your progress becomes easier. This is not to say that there won't be challenges or obstacles along the way. Just like the train may face uphill climbs or rough tracks, you may face setbacks in your journey. But remember, the power of momentum can help you overcome these obstacles and keep moving forward. Like the train, once you start moving towards your goal, it becomes easier to maintain momentum. Now, think about that train again. Once it's moving, it doesn't require as much energy to keep going. The initial push to get it started is the toughest part, but once it's in motion, it glides along the tracks with relative ease. This is the power of momentum, and it's a principle that applies not just to trains but to our lives as well. Keeping a train moving requires consistent effort, but less than starting from scratch. This is because it's easier to maintain momentum than to create it. Once you've built up some speed, the resistance you face decreases. The same holds true in our pursuits. If you've ever tried to start a new habit, learn a new skill, or work towards a goal, you know that getting started is often the hardest part. But over time, as you repeat the same actions, it becomes easier. The resistance fades, and your actions become automatic. This is the beauty of consistency. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first it's small and slow, but as it keeps rolling it picks up more snow, growing bigger and faster. That's your effort compounding over time, gaining momentum. Consistency in our actions leads to progress. It's the small, seemingly insignificant actions you take every day that lead to big results over time. It's not about the grand gestures or the once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. It's about showing up, day in and day out, doing the work, and staying committed. Consistency is not about perfection. It's about effort, and when that effort is consistent, progress follows. It might not always be noticeable right away, but over time the small steps you take each day add up. They build upon each other, creating a momentum that's hard to stop. So if you want to move forward, if you want to achieve your goals, remember the train. Remember how much easier it is to keep it moving than to start it from scratch. Remember the power of momentum. And most importantly, remember that consistency is what keeps that momentum going. Consistency, therefore, is the key to maintaining momentum and achieving our goals. Trains, when in motion, can power through barriers with relative ease. The same principle applies to our goals. Now, let's delve deeper into this analogy. Imagine your goal as a destination and your journey towards it as the train's journey. Along the way, you're bound to encounter obstacles or barriers, if you will. These barriers might be external, such as financial constraints, or internal, like self-doubt or fear of failure. But here's the thing, just like a train in motion, a consistent effort towards your goal can help you overcome these barriers. Let's break it down. Consistency is like the steady, ongoing power that keeps the train moving. It's not as forceful as the initial thrust needed to get the train moving, but it's crucial for maintaining speed and overcoming obstacles. A train that's already moving at 50 miles per hour can smash through barriers much more easily than a stationary train. Similarly, when you're consistently working towards your goal, you're building momentum. You're gaining knowledge, skills, and experience. You're becoming better equipped to tackle the challenges that come your way. You're like the moving train, ready to power through barriers. Now, these barriers might slow down your progress temporarily, but they won't stop you. Why? Because you're not starting from zero each time. You have the momentum of your previous efforts behind you. You're already moving, and it's much easier to keep going than it is to start again. So, how do you apply this principle to your life? Well, it starts with setting a goal and then taking consistent action towards it. It involves embracing challenges as opportunities for learning and growth. It requires resilience, persistence, and an unwavering belief in your ability to achieve your goal. Remember, consistency doesn't mean that you won't face obstacles, but it does mean that you'll be better prepared to overcome them. It means that each barrier you encounter will be less daunting than the last. With consistency, obstacles become less daunting, and we can power through them like a locomotive. What happens when a train stops? It requires a great deal of energy to start moving again. Now let's translate this analogy to our lives. Imagine you've been working tirelessly towards a goal, but then for some reason, you stop. Perhaps you're tired or maybe you're disillusioned. But here's the kicker. When you decide to start again, it's not as simple as picking up where you left off. You see, stopping is more than just a pause. Stopping is a disruption of the momentum you've built. It's like trying to get that train moving from zero. It's a strenuous task that demands a lot of energy and effort. It's a force that you have to overcome, and it's not easy. It's a battle against inertia, the tendency to do nothing or to remain unchanged. When you stop, you lose the rhythm, the flow that you had going. It's like a musician missing a beat in a song. Suddenly the harmony is gone, and it takes time and effort to regain it. The same applies to your goals. When you stop working towards them, you lose your momentum. And regaining that momentum is a challenge. Stopping also opens the door to doubts and second thoughts. It gives you time to question your abilities, your goals, and your path. It allows fear to creep in, making it even harder to get started again. It's like standing at the bottom of a hill with a boulder. The longer you wait, the heavier the boulder seems, and the steeper the hill appears. But here's the thing. All of this can be avoided by simply not stopping, by staying consistent. Consistency is not about speed, it's about not stopping. It's about keeping the momentum going, maintaining that rhythm, and not letting doubts or fears get in the way. Consistency prevents us from stopping and having to start all over again. It keeps our momentum going. So remember, like a train, keep moving. The journey may be long and the path may be tough, but as long as you keep going, you'll reach your destination. Like a train gaining speed, we can build our momentum with consistent effort. But how do we maintain this consistency in our actions? How do we keep our train moving forward without losing steam? The first step is setting achievable goals. Imagine trying to push a train from 0 to 50 miles per hour in an instant. It's an impossible task. But if we begin by aiming for 1 mile per hour, then 2, then 5, and so on, we gradually build up our momentum. The same principle applies to our personal and professional goals. By breaking down our ultimate goal into smaller, manageable steps, we can make consistent progress and keep our momentum going. Next, we need to celebrate our small victories. Each time we reach a milestone, no matter how small, it's a cause for celebration. Like adding coal to the engine, each victory fuels our momentum, propelling us further along our journey. It's the proof that our effort is paying off, and evidence that we're moving in the right direction. But maintaining momentum isn't just about reaching goals and celebrating victories. It's also about maintaining a positive mindset. Just as a train can't move forward if the tracks are blocked, our momentum can be hindered by negative thoughts and self-doubt. We must keep our minds clear and focused on our goals, reminding ourselves of why we started this journey in the first place. By keeping our mindset positive, we can overcome obstacles and keep our train moving forward. Remember, momentum is a powerful force. Once it's built, it's easier to maintain. It's the initial push, the first steps that are the hardest. But with each step, with each small victory, we add fuel to our momentum, keeping our train moving forward steadily and surely towards our goals. With consistent effort, we can build our momentum and keep our train moving towards our goals. Remember the train. The power it holds is not just in its speed, but in its consistent movement. Our journey, much like that of the train, relies heavily on our ability to maintain consistency. It's not just about how fast we start or how quickly we reach our milestones, but about how consistently we can keep moving forward. Consistency is our momentum. It's the force that keeps us pushing ahead, overcoming the obstacles that stand in our path. The power of consistency is akin to the steady movement of the train, helping us to avoid the dangers of stopping, to break down barriers, and to propel ourselves towards our goals. Remember, it's not the initial burst of energy that matters, It's the continuous, consistent effort that truly counts. It's about keeping your train moving, regardless of the speed. Stay consistent, keep your train moving, and you will reach your destination. This is the power of consistency.